So this is a recording of the meeting of the Southwick Library Board of Trustees. It is March 9th at 7 p.m. A few reminders that we will just do a roll call at the beginning, and if you vote on anything, to just give your full name.
Michael McMahon.
Yami Sayak Basalan.
Maria Gallo.
Tracy Meswars.
Okay. So I think if somebody wants to call us to order.
Okay, public comments. I don't see any members of the public. So we'll probably move on to communications.
Oh, this must be Carol. So for the recording, I believe Carol Garrick is joining us now. I'm going to get her to unmute. Is that Carol? Carol, I think you're on mute. Not on my papers. Oh, no. Oh. Can you hear us, Carol?
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay, wonderful. And we can hear you. Okay.
Oh, okay, good.
So we were just on communications. So I'm working on getting the seed library up and going. I just placed an order for a bunch of different things, so I have some things coming in to start with. And then we've got kind of the basics, and then we will go from there. Still aiming for an early April, hopefully April 1st kickoff date. We shall see, but we are offering, we've got a lot going on in March. We are working with the Pathways for Parents, who have done like the story yoga with us before. They are doing 2 parenting workshops, one the end of this month and one in the beginning of April. And they are also doing 4 STEAM programs, one for each of the next 4 months. So this month the kids are making slime, which is really fun. They put together really nice kits, and people just sign up and they take the kit home to go, and they just go online at a certain time and they make it with the instructor. And all of this is free through the Pathways Through Parents grant. So it's pretty fantastic. They are wonderful to work with. I believe I sent everybody a link for the Western Massachusetts Library Advocates Legislative Breakfast. If anybody wants to join, it's this Friday. If anybody needs the link again, just let me know. I can resend it to you guys. And I did create some new instructions for our staff who run Zoom programming. There was an incident, not with us, but with another library in CW Mars. And I think the main problem, what they did was they were having a Zoom program, but they put the link to join the program on their Facebook page. So basically anybody could find it, anybody could access it. Not good. They had an incident, something inappropriate happened, which is becoming unfortunately more and more common with Zoom, that somebody logs in, does something inappropriate. So I did create more instructions for our staff who do run Zoom programs. Just, even if we aren't running it ourselves, we should still be present in the background. That we will remain control of the program, and if something happens, we can just shut it down. And I think when we've had bigger programs, I think what I've just done is just turn everybody's camera off, put everybody on mute, and it just seems to be the easiest thing. So yeah, it's just, I just wanted to, make sure the staff knew, because sometimes it's easy when we're not the ones running the program ourselves, but we should always be aware of everything that's going on, because there are still things we can't control. Like I have patrons email me and then I email them the invite, but who's to say that they don't forward that invite on to somebody else? So, it's the name of the game with what we're doing with virtual programs, but as long as I think we have clear procedures, then I think we will be just fine. I think that the problem with what that library did was they put it on Facebook, so anybody anywhere could log on, and I think that's what happened. Oh, and the good news, let's see, did I have that later on? I think I have our COVID-19 response later on, so I will leave that. That is the end of my communications. So I believe everybody got the February minutes.
Uh-huh.
Yes, yep.
So any adjustments or corrections or anything to the February minutes?
It all looked good to me.
Thank you,
Okay,
Carol.
Hey, I checked those things, Maria.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
Do we have a motion to accept?
Second,
I'll move.
Okay,
Tammy Sachs, Priscilla seconds.
That was Carol Garrick moved and
Right.
Tammy.
Right.
right. Okay, is it a unanimous acceptance?
Yes.
yes,
Yes,
Aye.
Okay, directors.
Yeah, so I mean, for the report for February, the good news is that since we've been open without appointments, we have seen like this week and last have been incredibly busy. You know, not busy enough that we are going over our capacity numbers, but much busier than it has been. So I think February was kind of the last month that we're going to see such a decrease in our numbers. Hopefully starting March, we'll start seeing an uptick. But the awesome thing is we still did 269 curbside pickups, which is more than when we did in, was that December? Yeah, so I mean we've still been doing quite a lot of curbside pickups. So, you know, I'm hoping starting in March that we'll start to see an uptick in the numbers and things like that.
it's good.
That's it, Lib?
That's it. Yep, unless anybody had any questions.
no,
No?
No?
Okay.
So old business, I am still working on the LSTA grant for the one we're applying for is called Pathways to Success. So I'm still working on applying for that. Tammy Sandy sent does she go by Sandy or Sandra? I think it's
Sandy.
Sandy. Yeah, she sent me a very nice letter of support. So I have hers in there too. So that is going to be due early April. I'm just, I submitted a draft, got feedback on it, and I'm just putting the finishing touches on it to submit. And yeah, feeling hopeful. I think we've got a good shot for it. So I'm excited to be able to put that into works. And then under new business, for COVID-19 response, after the governor's update to move into the next phase or the next step within the phase, I was working with the Board of Health and we decided that appointments are no longer needed because our 50% capacity is so high that even on, you know, a pre-pandemic day, we really wouldn't be reaching those numbers unless, you know, we had a big event or something. So we decided no appointments are no longer needed. Patrons have been super excited about this, so it's going very well. We're just keeping an eye on, you know, the Board of Health recommended just keeping kind of a tally on how many people, so we know kind of how many people are in there at once. Never once, you know, got close to our 50% capacity, which is pretty high anyway. So it's been going great. We've been really busy. We've seen people that we haven't seen in over a year, so it's been really good.
still quarantining all the books and everything for 5 days?
Yes.
or-
We the books we are doing for a week. because it's easy to just be able to say, okay, it's Monday, I'm gonna go in there, we're gonna
Okay.
take off last Monday's thing.
Right.
There are new recommendations that I need to review from Baker. I think if I'm understanding correctly, and I need to review it, I didn't have a chance this afternoon, that they're only recommending 24 hours for quarantine. So even if that is the case, I kind of have to get the feedback from the staff and see how they feel about it. Because maybe the 7 days. I think a lot of other libraries are going down to like 5 days. Some are going 3 days. Some are not quarantining at all. So that's kind of the next thing we're going to look at, and we'll see. I mean, it's going really well. It's not, patrons are fine with having to wait a little bit longer for something. So, but that's the next thing we're going to look at and see if we can change some things. And the Board of Health also recommended, she recommended waiting on having in-person meetings or gatherings, because I did ask her about that. So she recommends waiting, and because our meeting room is being used for quarantine, and it's also being used for storage, because I have to have all the furniture and everything 6 feet apart. So that's kind of, as I don't want to drag it down to the basement and have to drag it back up. So it all just got put into the community room. So, the meeting room's going to kind of be out of use for a little while for that anyway. And I mean, we really don't have a big enough space to social distance everyone. It's just not possible. So I think we're going to reevaluate it come late spring. I'm probably at least through the end of April. We'll just continue doing virtual, and then we'll reevaluate it in maybe late April, early May to see where we're at. I know it's a little bit longer than some of our patrons want, but I just think, I don't have other storage space. I don't have other space to quarantine. It's just, it's what it has to be. And to think
It is what it is, sure.
it is what it is. And even our smallest group, which is probably the people who do craft and chat or color and chat, sometimes if there can be as few as 5, sometimes there's quite a few more. But even if it's just a group of 5, to social distance 6 feet is just, we just don't have the space for that. And it's not fun, because then you're going to be yelling across the room at everybody. It's not the same. So I think patrons will be very understanding.
From what I've seen in the Hartford Current, some of the libraries in Connecticut are still not open at all.
Yes.
Some are going to be open with appointments in the next couple of weeks, but some of them only curbside pickup.
Yeah. There's a different, there's quite a variation between what different places are doing. Sorry if you can hear that. Somebody's there's quite a variation between what places are doing. So like, for example, the Westfield Athenaeum hasn't been open for a long time. But we're open without appointments. And I think it just has to do with staffing levels, space, storage. It can be any number of things. But our patrons are very happy. So
Well, that's good.
yeah, nope, everybody's very happy. We're still definitely keeping up with the same level of cleaning and sanitizing, and that's, and we've been lucky so far, so that there's been no issues. So we're gonna keep chugging along, but I think it's going very well.
Okay.
And did anybody else have any questions or comments on that? Okay. The next thing we have on our agenda is Dr. Seuss. So
Yeah.
has everybody, I don't know if anybody needs a background on it, but I think everybody's pretty aware of what the controversy is going on.
I don't know why there's a controversy, but I know what they think is a problem.
Yes.
And I think Paul's letter said it all. Keep everything on the shelf.
And I did see there was a poll. Some librarian in Massachusetts did a poll of the libraries that are to see what everybody was doing with them, and I think it's pretty divided. I went through and I did tally marks with what everybody was doing. It seems to be very divided. What the three most common things people are doing with them is they're either discarding them or weeding them, leaving them on the shelf, leaving everything as is, or a lot of people are also moving them behind the circulation desk so that a patron would have to ask for it to get it, or putting them into storage or something along those lines.
No, I
So-
feel if someone doesn't like a book, don't take it out. It should be that simple.
Yeah, I think the major concern that a lot of people are having is that, it's easier in the adult department to say that, oh, if you don't like it don't take it out, but in the kids department, they might pick it up without realizing. But I do agree with Paul that it could be a good teaching moment.
Yes.
Right?
I haven't heard from any patrons with questions or concerns or complaints or anything like that. But I think
How many of those books do we have? Do we have all of them?
we own 5 of the 6,
Okay.
and currently at the moment they are all checked out.
Yes.
So yeah,
And were they
People are liking them.
picked out before they made the list, or
after
did people just come in out of curiosity? And
I think it was curiosity. Yeah,
yeah,
Probably adults more than kids that have them checked
probably,
out, right?
probably.
But you know
Trying to
what?
see what the hullabaloo's all about.
Then there's obviously a need for it. And so I don't necessarily think it should be banned in that respect. How many different books do we ban?
Well, it depends. There's always been groups or so on and so forth that, they want to ban a certain book for this reason or not. So I mean, we ourselves, we don't do the banning, mainly it happens a lot in school libraries. It doesn't so much happen in our particular area, but there's always going to be a complaint over something. There's always going to be somebody that disagrees over something, which is fine. It's a teaching moment. There's discussion, there's dialogue, and that's what happens. But I mean, I do agree with Paul's letter that it is a potential teaching moment, and if there is a demand for them, which if anything, the last week has shown when they've all gone out, it's a very fine line between, censorship is what it could very potentially become.
See, there are a couple of articles, CBS News on their website had an article on March 4th. It says New York and Denver public libraries are not removing the Dr. Seuss books. And the same day, there was an article in the Hartford Courant on the front page talking about some libraries saying we're not changing anything. We look at the American Library Association, etc. And other educators in Connecticut and the Hartford area said, some were saying, well, maybe we have to be kind of careful. I think the idea of not banning books, I mean, if it was some book came out that was really off the wall, then you say, well, I don't know if we want to buy this book or not.
Yeah.
To have it in the collection. But I think Paul's points were well taken.
Yes.
And if it gets to the point that you get a couple of complaints, then you could always put it behind the counter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I thought Paul's letter was very, very good, very informative. Made good
yes.
points.
Yes, yeah, and I did spend some time the other day looking for any, type of statement from the American Library Association or any other organizations like that, and it doesn't look like anybody's made kind of a definitive statement yet. I mean, I think the closest thing that we found was just, you know, a statement from the American Library Association's, what was she? She's the intellect, or she was the, yeah, she's from the Office of Intellectual Freedom. And I mean, you know, they haven't made a definitive statement either way. You know, they're saying a lot of it depends on the community, depends on the library. So, you know, we're kind of going without guidance from the library organizations, which is understandable. You know, sometimes they don't have the power to make, you know, a call either way. But yeah, I mean, if you all are comfortable with it, then I think we will leave them as is, but also potentially, you know, there's been kind of an email list going around with the other libraries saying, you know, for those of us who are leaving them there, what are we doing? Is there anything we're kind of doing to make people aware that these may have some potentially offensive information in them if someone were to pick it up and not be aware? So, but I mean, I don't know how much attention, you know, we want to draw to it by having any. Some people are talking about putting things inside the books or sticking them on the books. You know, I don't know how, to the extent we want to go to that. It's still up in the air, but
Can I make?
I think if no one has made any negative comments about the book, it's not necessary to do anything. You know, if someone does complain about something in particular, then you can consider that.
Yeah, I was going to make a motion basically saying to leave the quote unquote the offending books on the shelf. And if there were complaints, then you could put them behind the circulation desk.
Right.
Does anyone else?
I second that.
You'll second that? Thanks, Tracy.
yep. So if we,
You know, there's so many books that people have wanted to ban. I mean, To Kill a Mockingbird, or all the Harry Potter books, or Of Mice and Men, those are all potentially banned books.
Tom
And you
Sawyer.
just can't. What's that?
Tom Sawyer. Mark
Yep.
Twain says
Huckleberry Finn, all of those, yeah. So, you know, and you'd have empty shelves. I bet we could find something that offensive in any book if we looked hard enough. And that's what some people are doing with these Dr. Seuss books, I think. The people that are complaining about it are looking for something to complain about, in my opinion.
gotcha. Okay, so we will leave them as is. If there's a complaint, I can pull them. Oh,
does that finish off that project?
I think so. Yeah. I'll if there's a complaint, I'll pull them. I'll pull them to behind the desk until we can discuss it again. And then I think there's always the chance that if anybody has seen that they are selling for quite a lot of money on eBay, or I think they were pulled from eBay, but people are there's a chance that they may not return. And then, you know, because if they're selling for so much money, then not that anybody would steal a library book, because that's just wrong, but you know.
Well, you'd have their name and how to find them if they didn't return it, right? And if they have to pay for a lost book, give them the price on eBay.
Yeah, $800.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
I'm just curious too. We know how Paul feels because he wrote the letter. Do the other staff people agree with Paul? Do you know, has anyone else made a comment?
No one else made a comment. The only person that I've discussed this in depth with is Paige, who's our part-time children's librarian, to get her, because she works in the room, so she would honestly probably be the first person to get a complaint if there were to be a complaint.
Right.
So I discussed it with her, and you know, she's on the same page with us as this is our thinking. And you know, if it's a moving target, so if we need to reevaluate it, then we reevaluate it. But
right.
Okay, how about a vote on the motion?
Tammy votes yes.
Michael,
Michael votes yes.
Lynn? Lynn?
Carol, yes.
Carol, okay, so it's unanimous. Since Tracy seconded it, I'm assuming she's going to vote yes. Okay.
Okay, so next, we just have a couple new policies. I drafted up a social media policy just because I think it's important to have one. And because we have myself, our young adult librarian, our children's librarian, and the assistant director all have access to the Facebook page. I think it's just necessary that we have a policy just to cover ourselves if by chance, somebody ever commented or something inappropriate or, anything along those lines. So did everybody have a chance to look it over? I know it was longer than I intended it to be, but it just started to happen that way.
But it was very well done. I think it covers anything that might be a problem.
Yeah, very complete.
I mean,
Yeah, I thought it was good.
the only edit I was thinking of that we needed that I didn't put in here yet is that I did mention that only myself, the director, should be accessing the page, from at home or anything like that. But we do, during the pandemic, we do have staff who are doing, doing events and stuff from home. I think only Paige is using Facebook Live to do her story times. So, I mean, I'm just going to put in a small edit if it's all right with you, that in times of in times of need or extenuating circumstances that staff are allowed to access it at home as long as they're accessing it via password protected Wi-Fi. So
Right.
yeah, so if everybody likes, or I guess I will do the second one as well. The Shirtlift grant last year, Paige and Heather Paparella, they applied for stuff to make a creation station. So we have a laptop cart with a laptop, and Heather got this cool like keyboard thing that the kids can use and kind of record their own tracks and music on it. And Paige got it's a neat little camera kit that does like stop motion animation that the kids are into. So we just decided to draft up a policy because the idea is that people would kind of take the cart, take it to somewhere in the library and have fun with it, do whatever they want with it. So we just decided to write up a policy just so that we have something, in place if something were to go, just to cover ourselves if something were to ever happen. Mainly just the most important thing is that we went with kind of the ages in the children's policy for the library as to who can attend the library by themselves. So we said that patrons ages 14 and up can check out the cart themselves. Ages 13 and down, they just have to have a parent with them, and that's just so that 14 and up, they would be responsible with handling all the equipment and everything, but those younger might just need to have a parent keeping an eye on them just to make sure that nothing gets broken or damaged or anything like that. So that was that.
Now, they don't sign this out and take it home, right?
No, they just use it in-house.
Yeah, okay, I thought so, but I just wanted to clear that in my own head.
Yep. No, we aren't. I'm not sending a laptop home with anybody. No. Yep. So they can take the car and take it to one of the tables or something and play around with it. Yep. So
do we need a vote on that as well?
Yeah, I think if everybody is in line with both policies, including the change on the social media policy for extenuating circumstances and allowing staff to access it from home, then I think that's good.
Motion to accept the social media and the, what was it, the
Creation station.
creation station policy with the edit to the social media one.
I'll second it.
Okay,
Oh. Okay.
Michael, yes.
Tammy,
Tracy,
yes.
Yes.
Maria, yes.
Carol, yes.
Okay. Unanimous. Okay, art gallery.
Okay. Here, this is interesting or fun. I sent you all some pictures.
Yes.
Okay. So as part of the LSTA grant for Pathways to Success, and I was reviewing the old strategic plan and all those types of things, all those fun documents. People are really looking for quiet study places, quiet meeting spaces. So, and I'm throwing this out there because I've been thinking about it, and I had my tape measure the other day and I was measuring. So, and I know I talked with you guys about using barriers before to kind of create small meeting spaces, or I think maybe like 3 to 4 people could fit in there, which is just fine, because sometimes we book the community room out for a small meeting of like 3 to 4 people, and if they can meet somewhere else, then we could potentially have other uses for the room. So, I sent a couple pictures for you guys. I don't know how. I know I haven't seen a lot of you in a year, but nothing has changed in the library. But we have that corner, almost when you're going into the children's room. There's that corner there that's the art gallery. And that corner could potentially be a perfect spot to have 2 sectioned off and kind of, they're not going to be enclosed spaces. It's not going to be soundproof. But I think even if we give people the illusion of privacy, it kind of makes it just a nice place to study or work. And then further down, right as you're about to walk in the children's room, right on the left there's a row of computers that aren't hooked up to the internet. All that they had on them was word processing, which was, fine back in the day, but most people, when they're doing word processing, they need internet to get it onto an email or anything like that. So those 4 computers are not in use. They're not connected to the internet. They're just sitting there. So I was measuring, and we could potentially move the art gallery down to that space and have where the art gallery is now have sectioned off meeting spaces or like a small quiet study cubby or something like that. So I definitely will talk to, if this sounds good to you guys, I want to talk to Janine Laporte about it just to get her feelings and see, because I don't know the backstory, but if it is called the Laporte Gallery, I'm sure she's had quite a hand in it. So I want to see how she feels. If you guys are in support of this, and if not, that's fine. But I'll talk to Janine too, just to kind of get her feelings about it. I don't want anybody to feel like, we're pushing the art gallery out. It might even be nicer to have the art gallery where the computers are, because then you can see them from over across the bookshelves, from kind of the circulation checkout desk.
Well, part of the art gallery is on the other side of the
yes.
building too, in the little reading nook, right?
Yep. So it is kind of divided already.
Right.
And it would also have to be a question for maintenance too, to see if we can get whatever device they call it to hang the artwork and just get it moved down. I did the measuring, so everything will fit. It's not a question of things fitting. It's just a question of, how everybody feels about it. But either way, that area with those 4 computers that we don't use at all, we can definitely do something with that. But I think the corner where the art gallery is now could potentially be a good spot for some type of barriers, to make like a small study space, small meeting room. But
Right.
I wanted to run it by you guys.
I think it looks fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, then I will talk to Janine and get her thoughts. And see if we can go, and also talk to maintenance and see if they can even move things. But I was just thinking, if we are asking for this grant, we can. It would be probably a good opportunity for, we could potentially, use it as, this is a good place for, people to work, people to study, people to work on their resumes, anything like that, in a quiet kind of sectioned off space. So if we are applying for this grant, then this would be the greatest kind of point to put it in there and see if we could get some funding for it. Because with the grant, we are not allowed to ask for furniture or structures that are something that's permanent, but these are more of kind of a barrier that we could move as needed. So it technically fits in with what the grant allows us to apply for.
Sure, that sounds fine, I think.
And I did find some nice ones with kind of glass at the top, because my concern would be like, oh, the teens are going to go in there after school and I can't see what they're doing. So we do have ones. There are some ones with like glass at the top. So if you can kind of keep an eye on what's going on in there. So, and of course, there'll be no doors or anything. So, I mean, so it's not, like I said, it's not soundproof. It's not anything like that. But I think even if you give people kind of the illusion of privacy that they're set aside, then I think that that'll be all right. But yeah, so there'll be no door. So nobody can go in there and like shut themselves out and we can't see what they're doing. So.
Right. Well, I think it's worth looking into anyway to see whether it is a possibility as far as the maintenance and so on.
Okay. Yeah, I will ask maintenance. I will ask Janine to get her thoughts. And yeah, and then we can go from there.
Right. Okay.
Wonderful. Okay, and just the last thing I had was just an update for everyone that we had the finance committee meeting on March 6th. And I don't know about you, Mike, but I think it went all right.
It did, and the kind of questions that you got from the chairman of the FinCon, those are the kind of questions he comes up with every year.
Yeah.
Can't you squeeze and do more with less money?
Yeah, no, I thought they were great questions. I think we got quite a few points across. Most importantly being that we've had an open position for over a year now. So, and they did ask about whether we could potentially use more staffing. And to be honest, we haven't been fully staffed since I started, so I don't feel like I'm equipped to answer that question. I have no idea.
It used to be some of the library directors before you, in those 5-year projection forms, they would list 2 or 3 more staff. And FinCon would always say, times are tough. Everybody else is getting staffing, but we can't really give it to you. We don't have enough money. So this time you're not asking for that. You're not asking for a $10,000 or $20,000 room partition in the community room. You're not asking for any big stuff.
Yeah, nope. All I'm asking for is to fill a staffing hole, and that's it. That would be nice. And the most recent update from that is after talking with Carl, they're going to revisit it late spring. So we'll see if that time works out to get the process going again. So it would be nice, I mean, eventually I can see there are other places where we do need staffing, but I need to see how we operate fully staffed before I can make any judgment call on anything. Because since I've started, there's been retirements and leave. And so it's just.
It's the
Yeah.
same as if you were a retailer and you used to have all of your customers coming in. Now they're getting their merchandise at the front door. So it's like,
Mhm.
gee, how's that going to impact me? And what changes do I need to do
Yep.
if that becomes big?
Yeah, that as well. So there's too many moving targets to kind of make a maybe next year we'll have a better idea and then we can see. But I just want to get that position filled. And I'm so glad that we were able to make it full time and get that approved and redo the job description, and it'll just be nice to get somebody in there that can just make it their own. But overall, I think the meeting went fine. They had good questions, nothing we couldn't answer. But yeah, I mean, I'm hopeful that it will be a good year next year. Or
And they had
That's all you
virtual
hope.
coffee and donuts.
oh, it's not the same. It's like the legislative breakfast on Friday.
Right.
There's no food this time. I know in the Mass Library Advocates meeting, they were talking about different people. They're having breakfast sent to the office of with the representatives and whatnot, or who's coming. So it's something, but all of us attendees aren't getting any food.
Right.
That's all right. We're there to advocate for libraries. So. And that's all I had from my end of things, unless anybody else has anything to add.
I have a quick
What
question.
can we do in memory of Suzanne?
Yeah, has anyone heard, was there a public funeral or was there a kind of a wake or?
I
'Cause
haven't,
in obituary, I've seen nothing.
No, I haven't heard anything.
seen anything.
No.
either.
I even looked online and they have nothing on there,
No,
Apparently no obituary was written. Is that true?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, because I looked, because usually the newspaper will give some kind of information, but it didn't.
Oh my God, I didn't even hear this. How did I miss this?
Oh, Tracy, I'm so sorry.
Oh, I'm so sad.
Yeah, that's why I said I'm incredibly sad to be here. I knew her for 17 years or more.
Yeah.
Sorry to everybody. Oh,
I did call Diane and Anne to let them know, so they're aware as well. But I haven't heard anything. But it would be nice to do something. I don't know what we would feel like doing, but it would be nice to. I don't know how long did she serve on the board?
As
6 or 8
long
years
as I have.
at least.
Yeah.
Not as long as I have, but
No.
that's not saying much.
Does she have any family in the area or?
Not that she ever spoke of, so I really don't know.
See, I never ask people's backgrounds, so unless someone tells me something, I don't know. Like Carol at some point said she's got a couple of kids. Okay.
I don't know if she's ever mentioned anything of her personal life.
Nope.
Not that I remember.
Not that I remember. But I mean, there's if she gave 6 or 8 years, or like what you all said, there's something we can do for her, whether it's I don't know if she had any particular hobbies. We could purchase some books or something in a particular section, or we could
Right.
we could name a section, or even we can, or some type of furniture or something. Not furniture doesn't sound nearly nice enough, but something that has some relative permanence in the library for her. if you'd like, I can think of some things and then maybe next meeting bring some ideas, or if you guys think of anything, then
Right.
Yeah.
That would be good. By then we may know more. Something may appear in the paper or whatever.
Okay, yeah, so maybe it's good to just wait. So if we have more information, maybe there's something that we can kind of tailor specifically towards her. So
Mhm.
okay, yeah, so I will try to think of a few things. And then if you guys hear anything, please let me know.
We'll do that.
Has anyone thought about a replacement for her, or is it too soon to think about it?
I think that Doreen Goyette, who is kind of head of the Democratic Committee, has already notified the town that there will be an opening during the next election or something. She put something online along that line, so she hasn't.
She's actually the one I found out about Suzanne from, so.
Yeah. So apparently they will make it known that there is another, there's a spot.
But from now until town meeting, do we want to have someone cover, like you did for me when Nancy Zedun had to resign from the position?
It just, given the fact that it's March,
Okay.
elections are in May, because if the selectmen out a notice in the newspaper or looking for people, give them 2 or 3 weeks to respond, and then have a joint meeting with the library trustees and the
Right,
selectmen.
Okay.
It's almost the May elections.
I
Right.
think I'm up this year, so if you don't see me again, it's been fun.
You don't want to hear that, Tracy.
Oh,
It's right.
You'll be with us. You'll be with us.
Oh, I'm so sad to hear about Sue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was such a surprise, apparently, to everyone.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Thanks.
well, we'll do something to honor her.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
Right.
find something permanent to put in the building for her.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe if an obituary or something comes out, then we'll have a little bit more background information. So maybe we can tailor something kind of specifically to her and then her interest or hobbies or something.
Yeah, I don't know if she was even from this area locally. As I said, there's no background at all. She did work at the college, though.
Yeah,
didn't
apparently she was a professor at the college for, I don't know for how long.
Yeah. But that's why I think maybe she wasn't from this area anyway, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I know someone here who worked with her at the college. Maybe I should call her. I'm sure she would know more about Suzanne. Maybe I should call her and ask her what she can tell us.
Right.
Okay. I'm ready.
That's a good idea.
To do that. Okay.
Thanks, Maria.
Yep. Hopefully I can find out something.
Yeah.
Okay, do I hear a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Okay, Carol. And second, Maria. Okay.
Tammy says yes.
Tracy
Hey,
says,
that's it.
right.
Okay.